back from that break. Glad you're still watching Sun's Breakfast with me, Alan Abbott, and sign language interpreter this morning is Tobias Omondi. And before I forget, this morning I am dressed in a white, in a blue long-sleeved shirt, and the sign language interpreter is dressed in a brown long-sleeved shirt, accented with a brown tie. And these are the stories that are making headlines in the country. And we started off with Azimio demos suspended. And yesterday evening, report sent to newsrooms came to show that the demonstrations were suspended. Now, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition has suspended the anti-government protests that were scheduled to take place across the country on Wednesday this week. In a statement issued Monday evening, the coalition said instead of taking to the streets, they will hold solidarity parades and vigil for victims of police brutality in various locations in all parts of the country. Now, the coalition called on its supporters to come out and light candles and lay flowers for the victims of police brutality during the previous demos. Azimio says so far 50 deaths have been reported, with hundreds of others being injured and are admitted in hospital with grave injuries. Azimio has made the decision that on Wednesday, rather than go to the streets for a peaceful demonstration as earlier announced, we will hold solidarity parades and vigil for victims of police brutality in various locations in all parts of the country, reads a part of the statement. Now, Azimio has further asked religious leaders to dedicate Friday, Saturday and Sunday for prayers in remembrance of the victims of police brutality during the past peaceful demonstrations. And away from that story to other stories that are making headlines in the country, I will defend my family till the end. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta is setting the record straight regarding the number of firearms in the family's possession. Uhuru says that his two sons own 3 guns each. Members have 23 guns in their possession. Uhuru claims that there was a ploy to plant drugs and guns in his son's home. In an extraordinary audience with the media editors in Nairobi, Uhuru delved into a wide range of issues that included a solemn advisory to his successor, President William Ruto. Kenyatta had 3 words to say: power is fleeting. Now to disciplinary hearing begins against ODM rebel MPs. ODM rebel members of parliament face the party's disciplinary committee in a process that could end in the expulsion of the accused or other serious repercussions. A disciplinary hearing could lead to serious repercussions for the accused.
I feel violated when we discuss our internal issues. And we have got a lot of respected strangers in our house as we discuss this issue.
The Constitution gives me a right to hire a lawyer. I have not seen any part of the Constitution that a particular lawyer must be long. What if I got a lawyer who is not a member of any political party?
It will be a blunted violation and contravention of the Constitution of Kenya and the Advocates Act to require of the 5 of us to produce our identification cards for purposes of ascertaining whether we are members of ODM.
There's nowhere in these procedures that it speaks to that the advocate on record for myself must be a member of the party.
You are appearing, you appear by yourself. Please comply and come back with yourself. Come back yourself, or with yourself. Come back with the advocate and all next friend who has the appropriate credentials in terms of party affiliation.
Why do you want to take the next stage in camera? If you are fair, why are you? No, but then before we go to that camera stage, I want it to be known, Chair, that number one, I cannot come with advocates you send them all away, and you're asking me to appoint. What time is that lawyer going to prepare?
Can we take a break
Yeah.
if you insist? We wanted to continue, but we take a break if you insist on disrupting this meeting.
I'm not disrupting. I've gone further and now said that I'm being given 7 minutes to identify a lawyer who is an ODM member so that we file submission within 7 minutes. That is not in order.
If you haven't read the constitution of the ODM, that means that you're not a member, even yourself, you're not a member of ODM. So I think that maybe in my read of mischief, I can see a mischief whereby the honorable members who are in this case are trying to stage or lay a ground to further these conversations beyond the committee.
We have had at least 2 members being physically and personally present, and some members sent advocates. The rest, other members who are expected to be here, sent advocates, and we are proceeding well with the disciplinary hearings.
Away from the Orange Democratic Movement, and now to LSK condemned over violation of rights by the state. Concerned, not condemned, LSK concerned over violation of rights by the state. Now, the Law Society of Kenya is accusing the state of violating the constitution and embarking on a culture of a human rights violation and use of unreasonable force by government agencies. LSK's statement puts the government at a crossroad with cases of police killings documented and investigations ongoing, which fly opposite in the face of President William Ruto's pledge to end cases of police killings.
It was a huge push by the former administration, our friends, to use the criminal justice system to run their politics, and to fabricate, cases against people merely because they didn't agree with your political side. It is in the public domain. I pray that Kenya never again goes to a place where the criminal justice system is used to manipulate politics.
Na mimi nataka niwaambie polisi wetu hongera kwa kusimama kidete na kuhakikisha kwamba kuna amani na kuhakikisha kwamba wahalifu wote wanachukuliwa hatua. Ndio tuhakikisha kwamba
we are witnessing scenes that are reminiscent of the days when we had one party rule. So these are questions that we have to ask ourselves and to be extremely worried that not even a year or so down the line of this administration.
And away from the Law Society of Kenya, now to former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga and blogger Pauline Njoroge arraigned in court. Now, former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga, who was finally arraigned after 5 days in police cells, will spend another night in custody to await a ruling on his bail application by Tuesday. Njenga, who appeared before Makadara Chief Magistrate Francis Kiambai along with 2 other suspects, Peter Njoroge and Felix Lakise, denied 5 charges including being in possession of offensive weapons and trafficking narcotics. Meanwhile, Mathare Member of Parliament Anthony Aluoch, his Kilifi South counterpart Ken Chonga and 5 others, Mio leaders who were arrested for allegedly being involved in planning the demonstrations, were released on cash bail in Nairobi and Mombasa counties.
Muda ambao kwamba mtu anaweza kushikwa kiholela, huo muda umepita. Wacha mtu awe amekosa. Na siongei kama mshakiwa, naongea kama Mkenya. Haki ya watu kukungamana. Katiba iko juu kushinda mtu yoyote hapa Kenya.
Na iwapo pengine kuna watu wengine wanafikiri wanaweza kutuogofya, wasiambie wawe pole sana. Kwa sababu sisi hatutafuti haki yetu, tunatafuta haki ya Wakenya wengi ambao hawawezi kusimama imara kutetea haki yao.
This was actually an attempt to silence people. I'm not going to go into politics about it, but then it is quite obvious that when a state has gone rogue, it has gone rogue.
Zile fedha za wananchi zilizotumiwa kuwashika, kuwahangaisha, kuwalisha, kuwalinda masubaru zaidi ya 10. Kwangu kama wakili
naona kwamba tunapoteza mwelekeo.
And away from that story now to a story that has been in the news for quite some time, and this is a baby Sagini's story, whose cousin was handed 40 years in jail. Now, Lex Ochogo, the prime suspect in the infamous baby Junior Sagini's case, has been sentenced to 40 years in prison after he was found guilty of causing a grievous harm to the minor. Now, Ochogo was charged alongside baby Sagini's grandmother, Rael Nyakerario, and Aunt Pacifisa Nyakerario, who were sentenced to 5 and 10 years respectively after they were also found guilty of abating the crime. Now, the three were found guilty of causing grievous harm to 4-year-old baby Junior Sagini in December last year at Ilikuruma, a village in Kisii County, by gouging his eyes out. They had on January 18th been charged with attempted murder, which later changed to causing grievous bodily harm, according to Section 4 of the Penal Code, after prosecutor Hilary Kaino made an application to the court to amend the charges. Now, Sagini's lawyer George Morara welcomed the sentencing, terming it as a win for the minor, who still is in protective custody alongside his 7-year-old sister. The accused have 14 days to appeal. On that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're coming back with stories that are making headlines in